son Landon was diagnosed with autism about 2 years ago. Even though the past 2 years have not always been easy, I will not change my son for anything. As the father of a son with autism, I would like to talk to you today about autism. This subject is an extremely important matter to my family. The U.S. Library of Medicine defines autism as a developmental disorder that occurs in the first 3 years of life and affects the brain's normal development of social and communication skills. According to the world's leading autism science and advocacy group, Autism Speaks, autism is the fastest growing serious developmental disability in the United States. Now let's talk about who gets autism, what causes autism, and the different types of autism. In a 2008 survey by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 88 children will be diagnosed with a form of autism. Autism is a developmental disorder that does not discriminate. It occurs in all races, nationalities, and ethnic groups. Males are 5 times more likely than females to be diagnosed. Signs and symptoms will typically begin before the age of 3. Some people can show symptoms in the first few months after birth, and others can be after 2 years of age. There is no single cause for autism, but through research, scientists have found some likely causes. Genetics is one of these. A child with a parent or sibling with autism has a higher chance of being diagnosed than someone with no family history. Another likely cause is environmental toxins. Scientists have noted that heavy metals such as mercury can lead to autism. These heavy metals are far more common in today's environment than they were in the past. The 3 different categories of autism all fall under the term autistic spectrum disorder. The first one is autistic disorder, or classic autism. This is what most people picture when they think of autism. People in this category have significant signs and symptoms. The second category is Asperger's, or better known as high functioning. This is a milder form of autism. The third is pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, or PDD-NOS. This is the mildest form of autism, and people in this category have fewer and much milder symptoms. Now that we know who can be affected with autism, let's talk about how it affects their daily life. Even though all people with autism are different in their own way, they are affected in 3 main areas of their life. The first one is communication. This relates to verbal and nonverbal skills. They have delayed language skills, and in severe cases, some will never learn to talk. They have a difficult time understanding body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. And another common thing with people with autism is something we call echolalia. This is when they will repeat words and phrases throughout the day. The second area is social interaction. People with autism have difficulties expressing their emotions or feelings in a way that is socially acceptable. Children with autism will sometimes play alone, although this is not by choice. They just lack the necessary skills to interact with others. Another major area of concern is no sense of danger. Some kids with autism will wander off or go up to strangers, not caring if they're in any kind of fear. The third area is social imagination. Sociological imagination is a concept used by the American sociologist C. Wright Mills. The website popularsocialscience.com defines this concept as a person's ability to think for themselves away from the familiar routines of everyday life and to look at them in a new perspective. This concept relates to people with autism because people with autism have their routines, and even the minor change to this routine will cause them to have a meltdown. They also have difficulties in imaginative play and activities. On top of the 3 main categories we just talked about, people with autism can also experience troubles in other areas of their life. One of these is sensory issues. This occurs in 1 or more of the 5 senses, and these senses will either be intensified or undersensitive. Because of the challenges people with autism face on a daily basis, they can sometimes come off to the public as behaving inappropriately. But in reality, they are dealing with stuff that we are not able to see. Next, we will discuss what options are out there to help. There is no cure for autism. Children with autism grow up to be adults with autism. One of the most important options out there is early diagnosis and early intervention. The services provided in early intervention are from birth up to 3 years of age. And according to the organization Autism United, early diagnosis can reduce lifelong costs by up to 2/3. Another option for help is therapy. There are many different types of therapy. One of these is ABA, or Applied Behavior Analysis. This uses techniques that can teach basic skills from looking and listening to the more advanced, such as reading and conversing. Another one is speech therapy. This therapy is out there to help people to learn how to speak properly. makes autism a serious developmental disorder. We also talked about who is affected with autism, the challenges they face, and what options are out there to help. Even though people with autism face various daily battles, we must remember that they do not have a disability